In this video, we will discover the Performance submenu and run through the charting options currently available within the KnowledgeSmart platform. So right now we are in the Performance Spread submenu here. And if you hover over the question mark on the right-hand side, you will always get a handy explanation of what is being shown on that specific screen. So the performance spread chart displays test results for any given group as a scatter graph. The x-axis shows the time in minutes, and on the y-axis you are looking at the scores. So you will be able to see a plot of your team or group across those two areas. You have a handy option here at the top to select called Hide Usernames. If you select that one, you'll see that only the user IDs are displayed. So you might have a requirement for that. Notice that if I go to the drop-down menu here at the top, I'm able to drill down into a specific group that I have created previously under Results Data. So I can look at all my results, or I can look at a specific group. Next up, let's go over to Training Requirements. Once again, just remember to hover over the question mark to look for an explanation or summary of that specific chart. So this chart highlights training topics for the chosen group. The logic analyzes all of the results for the group, references the training tags assigned to the questions presented during a test, and then lists the tags in a priority order. Notice here, the red indicates the tasks which has been answered incorrectly by most people in the group. Orange is the next highest priority, followed by yellow. Green training tags are the topics which have been answered correctly by most of the group, so they will represent less urgent issues. So if we scroll down here, we'll see that eventually the chart moves down into that orange area, then down to yellow, and right at the bottom, the green areas. So looking at this another way, this would show the areas of proficiency as far as the count of training tags is concerned. And if you wanted to focus somewhere, you would start with the areas highlighted in red. It's very handy to drill down into specific groups, because that way you can target training to the specific training tags that are coming up for that group. Once I've taken a look at the training tag chart, I can also come over here to the right-hand side and select additional chart options. So we are able to look at training requests. And this chart will show the count of training requests per question name. So here, if I do see a high count against a specific question name, it guides an administrator to go and look at that question, to go and analyze whether it was perhaps the question wording which influenced the training requests, or perhaps this is genuine, an area that your users are not comfortable in working with at the moment. This will really help guide your training plan moving forward. Then let's take a look at skipped questions. So here we are looking at the count of users that skipped a specific question, and on the left hand side, of course, the question names. So we can see that the top 5 questions that were skipped are shown there. Then moving on to self-rating data. So as I'm sure you are aware, during the assessment process, users are guided to indicate a self-rating score against the current assessment topic. So this is typically how they view their own skills at this current time. KnowledgeSmart takes this self-rating and then positions it against the actual assessment result. When we see a big discrepancy between the user rating and the actual score, that is something that we want to go and address. Where users are rating themselves a lot lower than their actual score, this might indicate a lack of confidence or understanding in their own abilities. The self-rating data really provides another layer of depth when we are looking at our result analysis. Once again, if you have the need to not display usernames, tick this option here at the top, and then you will only see the user IDs. Do keep in mind that all of these chart types available within the KnowledgeSmart platform are also available within our Power BI template. So if you do have any specific visualization requirements or have the need to filter these down further, or perhaps change colors or the way the information is displayed, we provide a lot more flexibility within the Power BI template, and then of course some exporting options from there. So that might be the best approach if you are preparing a visualization report. Next up, let's review question performance. The first thing that you need to do here is select the relevant assessment from the drop-down list provided. So I'm going to go ahead and select this BIM 360 assessment here. And the next up, I have an option to either display the data for all my results, or I can actually drill down into a specific group. It is handy to know here that your dynamic groups will always have a star next to them here, and your static groups will be shown at the top. You have an option here to display this information as a line chart. So if you select this option, you'll notice the chart changes. Once you've selected that, you also have the option to then look at the data from a score perspective on the y-axis or a time perspective. So just toggle between those two. Let's just go back to our bar chart. Now we have the option to export the question performance info to CSV for further analysis. It is handy to know that this question performance data is also included in our consolidated data export. So if you wanted to look at your question performance data in more detail, this is also included inside our Power BI template. You might have the need to look at question answer information. This is the actual answers that your teams entered during the assessment process. This can sometimes provide insight into what went wrong when a large group of people got a specific question incorrect. So let's go ahead and select this option. So let's take a look at the question answer details page, where we are able to analyze the actual answers that our users gave during the assessment process. When we hover over a specific score for that question, we see that we're able to view the question text, so what was asked, and also look at the required answer versus the candidate's answer. Where we see the null value, this normally means the candidate was not presented with this question. At the bottom here, we can also look at the overall question average and overall time average for that specific question on a per question basis. Where we see that our teams are not performing well against a specific question, as far as accuracy or time is concerned, this is something that we can then go and address. Next up, let's take a quick look at module performance. So this is where we're able to analyze our team's performance against a specific module name. Here we are able to select from a drop-down list a specific module name that we want to take a look at. And once again, we can drill down into a specific group. And we can display this chart as a line chart if that is our preference. We can look at score and time. And as with question performance, we have the ability to export this information. Next up, let's take a look at group scores. So this is where we're able to analyze our assessment results based on a specific group that we've created. So let's go and select My Revit Group. We have the option to hide usernames again if we like, and we can just have a quick bird's eye view over how our users performed based on the parameters that we've set for the group before. We can also analyze exam results here. And on the comparisons submenu, we can also compare a number of groups. So firstly, we will select the number of groups that we want to review. The first option we have is to select a specific account that we want to work with. The next thing we will do is go and select a specific group. And we then have the option to compare the number of assessments taken, the average score, and the average time between those two groups. The last option under comparisons is called global comparisons. So that is very similar to the one that we've just reviewed, but here you are reviewing your team's results against our global benchmark data. So first step is to select the account that you want to work with. Next up is your group. And the next selection is the actual assessment title that you want to take a look at. So here we can compare our results against the KnowledgeSmart global benchmark results. Just select Revit Architecture Fundamentals there. And we can see that our group is displayed in blue and the benchmark results in that yellowy golden color. It might be useful to mention that the in-platform charting options is part of an ongoing development plan, so you will probably see changes to this part of the platform over the next couple of months. If you have specific charting requirements, you might want to take a look at our Power BI template. So I will link that workflow and more information on the visualization options within the template right here so that you can jump to that video.